John Longmire has ended his 14-year reign as Swans coach. The senior assistant Dean Cox will take over on a 4-year deal now. Longmire resigns as the Swans' longest-serving coach, snagging a premiership and a further 4 grand final appearances.
Visibly emotional, John Longmire ending his tenure as the Swans head coach.
Always thought that this would be my last contract. Whilst my head was sort of trying to talk myself in to keep going to the end of next year, my gut was saying that's about enough. The record crowds, record membership, gun team. I thought, if I'm going to do it, probably now's the time to do it. And always had a dream of making sure that I'd be able to hand the club over in as good a position as I could possibly do it.
While 2024 or 2025 was long planned to be Longmire's endpoint, the decision to not complete his contract and coach next year was relatively recent. No decision had been made going into the grand final.
I didn't know whether that would be my last game or not. I wasn't 100% sure. It's hard to know exactly at that point in time.
A win over Brisbane in the grand final seemingly would have made Longmire more likely to resign rather than less likely.
I may have made the decision to not coach if we'd have won, and maybe even got to that decision quicker.
John Longmire had the message "take the baton" installed above the Swans gym, and now he passes the baton to Dean Cox. These days are rare for this club. There are Swans fans in their 20s who've only known 2 senior coaches.
Part of my responsibility as a coach, which I've seen firsthand under Ruzi, was to make sure that the club's in a good spot. That was always in the back of my mind. I learned off one of the best in that regard, and I was always conscious of that. I never wanted to just up and out.
John Longmire has been at the club since 2002, starting as an assistant. It's longer than some of his players have been alive.
When I started in 2002, there was hardly a goalpost up here.
Relatively few AFL coaches managed to carry their bat. And John, you've done that with absolute distinction.
Longmire's new role is to be the Executive Director Club Performance. He won't be involved in the day-to-day of a footy department for the first time since 1988, when he debuted as a player. As for beyond 2025 and coaching elsewhere, Longmire was non-committal.
I can only just comment on how I feel today. I just need to rest, and I need to regenerate myself into whatever I do in the future. And my first thoughts are, what can I do here? That's my, what can I do with this? What can we do with this? It's a pretty good joint.
Longmire has taken the Swans to the finals in 12 of his 14 seasons. After a premiership in his second year in charge in 2012, he's been to the grand final 4 more times, but lost on each occasion.
What you can't underestimate is how hard it is to play finals every year, and how difficult it is to be top 4 and how hard it is to get there.
Locked in at the club for next year, Longmire won't be following his predecessor Paul Roos overseas.
I haven't got enough money to buy a property in Hawaii.
Longmire's dry humour still intact.
I called Bud last night and said, I asked Bud to come down and do this press conference so I could get on a plane and go to the Gold Coast. And
Dean Cox assumes the role of Swans senior coach. He was once a great rival of Sydney with West Coast in the mid-2000s.
When I arrived as an enemy for so many years, to be a part of the family now, and to have the ability to be able to move forward as an organisation, I'm forever grateful for.
Dean's many years as an assistant coach represented the most thorough interview process possible. He came through with flying colours, and he was the natural and unanimous choice of the board.
An internal succession, just the way Longmire became coach, is exactly the way he departs. Justin Edwards, Fox Sports News.